Good evening, good night, or good morning, fellow Amikalians. A state of being precedes the land. Estostato precedas landon. We hereby declare the borderless country of Amikalia. It is not a place to own, but a state of being. We are the borderless country where the other is always a friend, if one chooses so. Our map is not drawn in soil, but in the meeting of free wills. Amikalia begins where we all meet. In the past, we dreamt about Amikejo, a project aimed to create a physical place on Earth, a space limited by fences and maps. It was centered on the tiny territory of Neutral Moresnet, a geopolitical accident created in 1816 that attempted to become the world's first Esperanto state in the year 1908. However, because it was tied to a physical location and a valuable zinc mine, it was ultimately occupied during the Great War and annexed by Belgium in 1920, disappearing from the map entirely. It failed because it tried to catch the spirit of Esperanto into the chains of matter. The suffix "ao" always indicates a container, and the container by its nature creates walls. Wherever there's a wall, there is a conflict about property and ownership. Today we proclaim Amikalia because we no longer seek a piece of land, but a way of being. Amikalia is not a noun, it is an adjective. It is not the place of friends, but the quality of a relationship, where the term amik, which means a friend in Esperanto, is automatically associated with ali, the other person. In Amikalia, the otherness of a person is not a threat, but the foundation itself of a friendship. We are not borderless because of a lack of order, but because of an abundance of social liberty and personal freedom. In Amikalia, borders are not walls from stone. They are our individual wills. Borders are negotiated. Borders exist only where multiple freedoms meet and decide about mutual respect. Geography is dynamic. Wherever a border is necessary due to a choice of the individual, it simply appears by free will and communication. Where it is unnecessary, it dissolves into the ether. Free will prevails over matter. Amikalia is not soul which one possesses. It is an agreement which one lives. Our country does not have country borders guarded by soldiers, simply because our borders are spiritual agreements, not materialistic proofs of property and ownership. We do not fight for the ground. Instead, we work together for the right to be both, totally individual and totally friendly. Here are the core concepts of Amikalia in a few words, but please bear in mind that they are imprecise and very general. They are here to inspire, not to define the whole Amikalia in a nutshell. While Amikalia is like everything, an ever-evolving phenomenon, its core concepts are the values which brought its conception. Number 1. Holistic and indoctrination-proof education. This is the very heart of Amikalia. Free education and knowledge for all, children and adults alike. Core curriculum follows the natural interests of a person. It adjusts itself to it organically with only the simplest and most practical aspects of common knowledge becoming the experience for all. We learn everything that's generally healthy, practical, and corresponding with our current interests. The classes are small in numbers. The teachers are always multiple per each class. No marks. only constantly verified and expanded knowledge within the frames of individuals' current interests. Physical activities are varied and ever present. No concrete ideology is presented as more true than any other. One of the main goals of Amikalian education is learning how to respect your own borders and the borders of others. It's about ensuring that the natural urge for verbal and physical violence will be channeled to the few disciplines possible to contain it, like sports. An urge for verbal and physical violence can neither be suppressed nor tolerated in social relations. We want to raise Amikalians who know how to work on their individual happiness without suppressing emotions or incapacitating the other's work within the very same department. This is the primary goal of Amikalian education. Everything else comes after, regardless of the stage of education. Amikalia is not about endless philosophical and academic debates. It is about actively embodying the values and seeing how that works out. In Amikalia, everybody is always both a teacher and a student. Number 2, animals and corporate-free, efficient ecology. We do not eat any living organisms which are even theoretically capable of running away from a knife. Breeding animals for slaughter is not our way. We will not preach if you still decide to eat meat and fish. Our values lie in not trying to change you and prove that our way of life is better. This is our choice, but it doesn't have to be everybody's choice. We try to organize our social life in a zero or less waste manner. We do not use plastic at all. We are eager to minimize some of the joys of our modern-day civilization to a certain degree. We definitely want to handle water and other resources in a reasonable manner. Same applies to other issues related to ecology, wherever it's actually about the people and the planet, without a hidden corporate interest. We want to go hand in hand with the whole planet, not just the few. Number 3, religion and other systems. Radical neutrality of belief. No religion or belief system is more true than any other by Amikalian law. We believe in the scientific method, but we also believe in lots of different phenomena. If you are an Amikalian, you are equally right being an atheist, a believer, or agnostic. Preaching to others what is true or false is not our way. In a world where it's increasingly difficult to distinguish between fact and fantasy, we simply choose not to. We care about the facts only in the context where they are indisputably proven with scientific method and insusceptible to manipulation. Let every Amikalian have their own opinions as long as they agree with the core concepts, which are not based on facts but values. We do not preach anything, we simply practice the core concepts. We try not to judge too much. As individuals, we believe in whatever we feel like believing, and we continuously test if it's still true for us. In order for the change to happen, we put Amikalian values in front of our personal views, opinions, and beliefs. Amikalia is voluntary, and anybody can always leave. If it's a cult, then it's not Amikalian at all. This is our only religion as Amikalians. Number 4, money, work and ownership, post-monetary transition. We are not against money. It is not good nor evil. It is only a tool that's becoming more and more obsolete nowadays. We believe in an abundant world with much less greed, war, famine, inequality, pollution, poverty, and nearly everything else our planet suffers from due to the sheer existence of a monetary system. When everything is free, consumption is less frantic and more conscious within a commonly accepted limitation framework. There are many concepts out there, like resource-based economy by Jacques Fresco, open access economy promoted by Colin R. Turner. Academics like Anitra Nelson postulate non-monetary socialism. There's also P2P movement with Michel Bauwens, and things like open source ecology with Marcin Jakubowski, and many, many more. We would rather work with them and alongside them than compete with them in the eyes of the public. We'd rather focus on what we have in common while accepting all the beautiful differences. No Amikalian claims substantially more resources and goods than another Amikalian. Work is voluntary value. One chooses freely among all the imaginable options to spend your free time. We are not against the ones that currently decide to do hardly anything or even less for the common good in the eyes of the public. We believe that sooner or later they will find a way to work in alignment with themselves and the larger communities. We are also not against the people or forces who hold the literal and imaginary power over the world. We do not want or need any of that power, whether in secrecy or openly. Do whatever you like with the world and the resources you consider your own. We do not want anything which is yours. We only want to do what we want with people who want the same. We do not argue with you. We fully support your right to speak about the claims to what you deem as yours. Promoting non-monetary values in the monetary world may be difficult without any funds, but we're not asking you to give us your money yet. Instead, we're testing the possibilities of evolving from social cooperatives to non-hierarchical, quasi-corporate structures through pragmatic templates provided to us by all the movements mentioned in this paragraph. And there's also a lot of room for improvements. We do not believe in any sort of hostile sabotage and counterintelligence except for self-sabotage. If you are truly transparent with a transparent network, within a transparent network, nothing can bring you down. In case it happens, there's nothing practical in worrying and a lot of value in proactive countermeasure. Amikalia is always open for those who might want to join us in the future with full transparency. Number 5. Political system and citizenship. Direct sovereignty. Politically, we are Amikalian. There's no right or left, only human. All Amikalians respect the local laws of the national countries where they live. Constitution is a document everyone should be able to learn by heart in a day. We believe in a very efficient, pragmatic and practical direct democracy in the place of the ever-present representative democracy. A set of rules that work once tested and set in motion. No government at all, just Amikalians. Direct votes, technology, and automation within a healthy degree. We renounce ties to the old, mismatching and outdated terms like socialism or Marxism, while admitting, obvious similarities. Nevertheless, we respect and draw from the whole spectrum as long as it respects the boundaries of other and does not incite violence. In the previous section, we covered some of the movements sharing similarities with our core concepts. You don't need a precise definition if you know the destination, unless you've been there already. If you come from an abundant world with no poverty and ever-present peace, then please give us your definitions and we'll gladly copy and paste them here. Our citizens come in three circles, but please treat it as a symbol, not a fact. Circle 1, Amikalians support all the core concepts. Circle 2, Amikalians support at least some of them. Circle 3, Amikalians are those Amikalians who support none of the core concepts. We will never call Circle 2 to 3 individuals as Amikalians if they explicitly reject the name. Us calling them Amikalians only refers to the inherent value within the term. An other is a friend. It's less about naivety and more about transparency and embodying what we believe in. The embodiments of circles 2 to 3 are not Amikalia, but the people within those circles most definitely are. You can stand against everything we care about and still be treated as one of us. Not some strange opposing force at the other side of the fence. We are the fence and the entities on the other side as well, especially at times when we're firmly rejecting the very notion. Number 6, bureaucracy and law. The clarity principle. Bringing down bureaucracy to a minimum seems like an impossible task, but without money, it will be much, much easier. We see the law in the very same way as constitution. Let's say you aren't intellectually impaired and can't learn it by heart in a day while still having problems understanding it at all. This simply means that we need a brand new and simple legal system, one which would not only support those who can navigate and exploit this system. Amikalian law is understandable for all. All systems within the world may become outdated, corrupted, eventually crumble and fade into oblivion. Amikalia does not pretend to be anything better or worse. We may stay here for a second or maybe a little while longer, who knows? Regardless of the length of the stay, we would just like to stick around for as long as we can to make a lasting, uplifting impact in this part of our universe for those who want to be a part of it. We reject the narration that humanity has to be the worst what happened to planet Earth in its long history. Instead of focusing on the calamities, we choose to focus on pragmatic, non-violent actions that will bring the best possible results with the least necessary expenditure, which is the opposite of bureaucracy. We do not pry the already open door. Humanity is continuously redeeming itself. That's why Amikalia is for all beings. Humans are also more than welcome. Number 7, medical pluralism and science. All branches of natural, scientific, and esoteric medicine are equally important and equally free for all Amikalians. We do not care for or need to scientifically know how the method works as long as it helps to eliminate both the cause and the symptoms. Scientific method is a great tool, but very severe for a human lifespan, don't you think? Psychological facts are also facts, as long as they don't incite violence and as long as they actually help objectively and in the eyes of the individuals. A true cure does no harm to the patient while benefiting corporate structures. We have educational approach to any substances or phenomenons, including social habits, which may be highly addictive and unhealthy. We embrace all technology as long as its use does not eclipse maintaining what, for the lack of a better word, we call our happiness. This also applies to mental health and basic needs in general, including the very fact that we are still, at least to some degree, biological beings made of matter. We balance automated technology with some manual labor to uphold the continuity of our experience as human beings on this planet. We are not transhuman yet, but we've always been even more than that. We've always been the potential incarnate. As Amikalians, we use scientific methodology, but we do not treat it as a religion. Science is just one of the ways to understand the world, just like imagination, art, esoteric systems, philosophy, general critical thinking, religion, and other phenomena. Number 8. Military and unified civil service. No Amikalian soldier would ever fight on a foreign soil, or any soil for that matter. Amikalians are attached to values, not property and ownership. Hence, we do not fight for it. Amikalians are pacifist. All violence is relegated to sports. However, Amikalian may freely decide to fight in defense of Amikalia or not when actual lives are at stake. Once taking the path of violence away from sports, a quarantine period will be ensured before reintegration is possible. Most of the civil servants are equally trained. Police, fire department, paramedics, and military are the same people, just different preferences. If needed, they can do all. All Amikalians embrace the repeated first aid and other pragmatic trainings such as nutrition, overall fitness, health and safety, basic handyman skills, post-co-op community resilience skills, which is shifting from the cooperative as an institution to embodying the cooperative as a mindset, and many, many more apart from those. Civil service is just a little professional reinforcement when you have actual citizens aboard your ship. Number 9. The values of Esperanto, the communication bridge. You don't have to learn Esperanto to consider yourself Amikalian. Not all of us speak Esperanto. We just like the idea of a language constructed specifically to promote world peace. A language not linked with any ethnicity or a country. We embrace the diversity. We use all the national languages, leading with English, not to alienate the idea of Amikalia. English will be our language as long as it will still be considered the current world language. But the very term Amikalia comes from Esperanto and the values which inspired it. Those values are about bringing peace, happiness, hope, and prosperity to the world, and nothing unifies people more than a common language. Esperanto is one of the world's easiest languages, and it is a symbol for what we practice to embody. Practice means it may not always be the exact and pure embodiment, but you know what they say, right? Practice makes perfect, or at least, practice makes it a little bit better than what it was yesterday. So, those are the core concepts of Amikalia. Unlike the historical Amikejo, which sought to claim a small corner of the earth, Amikalia claims nothing but the space between the people. We recognize that physical borders are often materialistic proofs of ownership, rigid lines drawn in the mud that ignore the human soul. Amikalia is a borderless country because its foundations are not in the mud, but in negotiation. In Amikalia, the borders are not found on maps. They are found at the meeting point of many freedoms. Borders are dynamic. They exist wherever an individual's free will requires a boundary, and they vanish wherever they are unnecessary. The other is the citizen. In a standard country, the other is a foreigner. In Amikalia, the very word for our state includes the adjective framing and merger of the word amik, which means a friend, and the fundamental part of the word ali, which means the other. We do not seek a place to stand. We seek a way to be. We are not a nation of soil. We are a state of being. Amikalia is an adjective. What comes next in this poetic sentence is the verb. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay with us for the verb. By all means, do not like, comment, or subscribe if it's just not your way. Please bear in mind that a state of being precedes the land. Estostato, precedas, landon. And last but not least, fellow Amikalians, have a great evening, night, or a great day.